What's going on, everybody? This is Ray Rawlins from the Ray Rawlins Network, and I'm joined by Alex Pain. Today, we're getting a little classic on your ass. We talking some classic SpongeBob, and today we are reviewing the Nasty Patty.
Ooh.
Alex, we're gonna change a little things up. We're gonna have you give the episode breakdown firsthand right now. So tell everybody what's been going on in the Nasty Patty episode.
Well, in this episode, a health inspector shows up at the Krusty Krab, and as every restaurant owner does, Mr. Krab gets super nervous. So, and yes, I call him Mr. Krab, I noticed. And he goes to SpongeBob and is like, "We gotta keep the health inspector happy." So, they give him a feast, but turns out there's an imposter going around pretending to be a health inspector, and Mr. Krab probably unfairly immediately assumes that this is the health inspector, so him and SpongeBob can talk the Nasty Patty. And they give it to him, but before he can even taste it, he chokes to death. Well, he chokes on a fly. So SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs, after seeing the news saying that they found the health inspector who was being an imposter, they look and they see that the guy was knocked out, but they thought he was dead. So everything that happens afterwards is them trying to hide the body, because I don't want to give away the whole episode, They tried to hide the body, then the police got involved, and so yeah, this whole episode is pretty much about them trying to keep the secret of what happened to the health inspector.
All right. Good breakdown. Fantastic breakdown. I gotta ask you though, man. We're SpongeBob fans for a long ass time. We've seen this episode numerous times. What did it feel like to watch this episode again?
I would say, I don't know, because I was thinking while watching this, I feel like that episode has been drained of most of its funniness for me.
Of course, yeah.
So some of the moments were funny. I thought the moment when they was putting the shovel in the trunk, and SpongeBob was like, "Could I lose my cool now?" And then putting the body. I thought that was
why?
I thought that was really funny. And there was something else I thought was funny, but I can't recall what it was. But and the other thing I think was funny is not even necessarily something that is funny, but it's just the way it was. When the police officer hit him in the head with the anchor, that just was one bitch blow there. He knocked the hell out of him. He knocked his bam!
Die, zombie!
That was one
good
bitch
police
ass
work,
blow.
Officer Nancy.
That was one bitch ass blow.
Hey, if Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob didn't try to kill him, they were sure gonna make it their mission too. I'll tell you this though, because I saw this a couple weeks ago. Like I said, I just got my cable back, man, and I've been binging the hell out of SpongeBob. They've been playing it on Nicktoons Network every night, but I've been binging the hell out of it, and that came on, and I tell you, it's a hell of a lot different than the new episodes coming out today. I know I don't have to tell you, we've mentioned this numerous times, but just the tone itself.
Tone difference.
Mm-hmm. It's not even the dark tone, but just the episode itself just felt different than regular, or not regular, but SpongeBob today. But I do have to say this, going on to favorite moments and whatnot. I have to say, man, Mr. Krabs, when they're conducting what's the word I'm looking for? Constructing. There you go. The nasty.
Conspiring.
Yeah. When they're getting all that stuff set up, he's like, man, he tells SpongeBob, "Man, you're dancing with the Crab Man now, boy. Join me or you're fired." And I'm like, oh man, come on, Mr. Krabs. Why you gotta do SpongeBob like that? Mr. Krabs throughout this whole episode showcased that he can commit a murder. That man is no joke, honestly. He is no joke.
I think it was when they were freaking laughing at his pains. I was like, "Look at him suffer." I think it was a really fucked up episode.
They don't need air where he's going. SpongeBob digs up a grave and whatnot, throws him in there, has his head up. Oh, they don't need air where he's going, and it's just so screwed up, man. I gotta say, for us to be a kids episode, man, this was just so dark, and it's hard to believe that this airs on the same channel as Dora the Explorer. I'm serious.
I'm sure this episode came on in the morning once too before it.
It has. Actually, I'll tell you. Before I used to go to school, I used to wake up early. This had to be like when I was 9 or 10. I used to watch SpongeBob at like 7 in the morning before I go to school. And I tell you, I can't tell you how many times I seen that episode on in the morning, early as hell. But I do have to say,
listen, that's a good way to start your day.
It is, honestly, some good SpongeBob, man. I do have to say though, this episode is definitely in my top. I had to say top 10 because I did really enjoy this episode. Which is might as well hop into final ratings and whatnot, unless you have anything else to say on the episode.
No, I think you covered a lot of it because like tone, it has a very dark tone, I suppose. Like it has a very nice dark. Like the tone feels different. Like because usually cartoons don't have a feel to them, and I would say this episode had like a feel to it.
Right.
And I love like how. I mean, it's a minor detail, but I love how they was willing to let Mr. Krabs stray away from his cheapness just to try to protect himself.
Oh yeah.
He tried to give them all the money in the cash register.
It's open cash register night.
And in a way, maybe that's some type.
It made it feel more realistic.
Maybe that's some type of symbolic thing, because when you think about it, what was the first scene of Mr. Krabs? Him bathing in money, and now he's willing to give all his money away in the cash register just to try to be free. Maybe it's some type of undertone. Maybe it's something they didn't really care about.
You know what?
Maybe, who knows?
You make a good point with that, but come on, this is a cartoon. I don't think they're thinking like that in the writers' room. No, you definitely would. But they gotta think about that too. Like, you gotta think who this show is made for. Probably 7 to 9-year-olds.
Yeah,
but then look
at
what's going on in the episode. It's more made like 15 or 16-year-olds.
But what you gotta think about too, though, is like 90% of the time, people don't make symbolism and all that other shit for people to find it, or even expect them. You're right.
It's just, right, and half the time they don't even know about it. Huh.
I will say this though, but I think I agree though. I don't think that was an intentional thing, but it could have been. It could have been.
Yeah. So let's get into final ratings and whatnot. What will you give this episode?
Even though like I said, I feel like a lot of the funniness has been zapped out of it. Even though I wouldn't even argue that this was supposed to be a super funny episode anyway. Like I think this was supposed to be an occasional funny, but like. I think this is a very story-heavy
yes, I was thinking that.
So
it's very story-driven, more story-driven than the average SpongeBob episode, even for that time.
And so, because the story is really good, it progressed very well. There were some questionable, progressions of the story. It's like why the hell would the police officer try to go in the back to get ice out of the freezer? But that's just nitpicking.
I wouldn't even say that's questionable. Like.
If it was like an ice thing over in the corner, yeah, but like the fact that she was going in the back in the kitchen.
She sees they're acting funny, and she knows that they're acting funny. They just got to call about somebody burying a body, whatnot. I'm gonna give her the little extra mile here, saying that they went over to what they said Shallow Grave Road or whatever, whatever the fuck the damn road was called. And she's probably putting 2 and 2 together. They got the muddy shovel in the trunk. SpongeBob acting all weird and scared and whatnot. You see the muddy shovel. And she even asked him, you guys are acting like you committed a murder. Or maybe, I think that was after. I think that was after the fact.
I would agree with you if but she didn't act like she was suspicious at all until that point.
Right.
And it took Mr. Krabs talking about ice being a myth. This is something I thought of that I'm surprised I never thought of before. Okay, so if they had a freezer underwater, and a freezer freezes water. Wouldn't a
Right.
whole freezer be a block of ice?
Right. You're right. You're 100% right.
But
But
that's a whole different discussion though.
cartoon
But
logic, man. You're
but
digging too deep.
one of the funniest moments of SpongeBob will always be friggin' Patrick and the fire. But anyway, um, I give this episode an 8.5.
Really? Okay. I'm gonna have to not agree with you on this one. I mean, not far off anyway, but I personally did, like I said, enjoy the episode. This is obviously I say in my top 10 probably, but I'm gonna go and say this episode gets a 7.5 to an 8. Honestly, 7.5 to an 8. It's definitely up there. I really enjoyed the whole story-driven plot. I appreciate a damn good story, and especially if you make it make sense. Obviously, like you said, the whole freezer thing, that's kind of a little wonky, but you just went after the whole freezer thing being on their water, and that's kind of like going a little bit too far with it. But obviously, you got to
Well, I
suspend
mean,
your
that's
belief.
an in general question, though.
No, yeah,
The
obviously,
freezer's
it's
been
cartoon.
20 episodes and everything.
Right,
so.
right. But it's a cartoon, so you got to suspend that disbelief. But with all that being said, I really did enjoy the episode. 7.5 to an 8. Story-driven plot. I always appreciate that, man. It gives way more characterization to Mr. Krabs and all of them, and the whole money scene, like you said, it made it seem more realistic. Like Mr. Krabs giving up money to protect himself. Like, yo, man, SpongeBob's getting this. I need to distract him. Open cash register night. So I really enjoyed that. So my final rating is 7.5 to an 8 out of 10 for sure. Episodes definitely in my top 10 probably. So I got a lot of episodes in my top 10. I'll probably have 20 in there. But anyway, with all that being said, you guys, this is Ray Rawlins. He's Alex Pain. We're on the Ray Rawlins Network. Thanks for stopping by watching this good classic Nasty Patty SpongeBob review. We will see you next week when we kick it off with another modern SpongeBob review on the Ray Rawlins Network Monday. Peace.